I've been thinking a lot this week about why I actually fish. We had a really good survey on the community tab over on the YouTube channel. It's a lot of reasons really, but the main one for me is coming back to nature. You know, coming down to places like this, even in wild conditions like we've got today, and it's getting away from all that social media crap. There are a lot of other reasons why we fish. I just wanted to talk about a few today, and I must admit, taking a look at the kayak and all the bits that come with this, I'm a bit of a sucker for all the technology, all those items of equipment you can buy, things you can research and then go out and use on the water. Of course you can catch fish with any old rod and reel, but I really like to dig deep into all the different rods and reels and stuff like that. There's something quite pleasurable about making your own rigs as well, whatever you tie and then going out and actually catching a fish with them. Another element is the solitude that fishing gives you. This was shot on an October day. I went down to my local beach, and there were just mackerel everywhere. No people, but I could have the pick of the fish if I wanted. And it was just strange how the memory of this day wasn't really the actual catching of the fish, but was the amount of wildlife that was around, all the gulls indicating where the fish were, that sunrise that you can see there. And yeah, so, you know, I mean, it was easy to catch fish that day, and I took a few mackerel home to eat, but the thing I really remember was that solitude that fishing gives you, particularly with mackerel fishing, because of course you have, during the summer you're going to be shoulder to shoulder at some venues, and that's not why I go fishing. It's for days like this. Bit of a blatant plug now, I'm afraid. Really love you to subscribe. Just click on the subscribe button underneath the video, and then also click on this bell icon. There should be a little grey bell icon. That way you'll be able to get notifications. So if I do have a good catch report, you should be able to get that pretty quick. It's a little bit more relevant for you that way. And then being out in nature itself is a huge reason. I mean, we spend so much time indoors. You look at kids today as well. I'm sounding like a bit of a moany old man, but kids spend a lot of time indoors, and they suffer a bit, and so do us adults. I think we need to get out there and involve yourself in the nature, and that's a big part of why I fish. And then you've always got a chance when you're angling of creating a few memories. I've been looking through some old photos now. Fishing really does create some memories. This was a £5 bass from the Admiralty Pier down in Dover, which is a different fishing venue now, but I just remember it as my first ever decent bass. And there's a story behind a lot of these photos actually. This is a pollock. I've been targeting these for ages on plugs and lures, and I hadn't been able to catch a decent one. In the end I gave up, just started spinning for mackerel on the feathers, and of course the very next cast got this 6-pounder. Probably like yourselves, you probably remember your first ever. This one here wasn't my first ever fish, but it was the first one I managed to catch on my own rod and reel. These were 5 black bream. I remember taking a little book because I didn't know what the fish were. Of course I probably wouldn't keep all 5 now, but good fish, and again another memory that was created. And the reason I put this photo up here, looks a bit, nothing too much interesting going on, but this was the last time I'd ever see that rod and reel, because a few minutes later, after my friend Derry took the photo, the rod and reel launched into the air and flew into the sea. And I don't know whether that was a rogue wave or I hadn't secured it properly, but it flew into the sea. And it was here actually on the Llyn Peninsula in North Wales, near a town called Abersoch. It's on the Killan here. And even to this day that rod and reel, I'm sure covered in barnacles or covered over by sand, is sat there. So again, another example of angling creating memories, perhaps not a good one on this occasion. This is a triggerfish. This is one I caught in Ireland in 1991. It was £5 in weight, and at the time that would have beaten the Irish record. A memory created through actually getting out and fishing. Pure luck, of course, no skill there. But catching a good fish, a big fish, is brilliant. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm hunting when I'm fishing, and I try to be in tune with nature. So catching a big fish is a great prize. mostly those will go back now. But this 11 and a bit pound bass that I caught last year, again, in terms of creating memories and actually seeking the fish, this was the ultimate for me. So it's moments like this a lot of the time you're going for, and you run these scenarios through your head. I think you go fishing and you're imagining that something amazing will come out of the water at some point. So actually, let's be honest, it's the prize of the fish itself that takes a lot of beating. Another reason I fish is for the travel aspect. I've been lucky enough to travel around the country and fish various marks over the years. And even if that's like a family holiday, you can get down to the beach, you can notice these new places and speak to people, and you're really involving yourself with where you might be staying on the coast. Another good reason to go fishing is to catch and eat the fish itself. There's some smoked mackerel here. Did a catch and cook on smoked mackerel.
I can't explain.
Meanwhile, in the supermarket, you can get your 2 little bass fillets like that, or I mean, look at that. That is so look at that. I mean, that's a farm sea bass, and it's almost like a different species to the fresh bass that you might catch in the sea. I don't know how long that's been there, packeted up in plastic. So for me, again, a small percentage of why I fish is to catch fresh fish, save a bit of money and get them home and cook them. There's a lot of other wildlife and nature around when you're fishing as well, and you get to see that. You get to see the changes in the season a lot of times before anyone else, because you're out there for those first signs of spring. And again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It really is getting back to nature, and you can find that by going for walks or playing golf or a multitude of other things. But there is something just that little bit different about fishing, that hunting element, I think. Anyway, we'll get back to me actually doing some fishing in the next video. Tight lines, everyone. So I'd be really interested to know why you fish. What's the reason you come out? What gets you out of bed in the mornings? Catch those fish. What makes you put in all that effort, spend all that money? It can't just be to catch a fish. Piscator non solum piscator. There's more to fishing than catching fish.